Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Varus supplementary guide, and today we're going to be taking a look at AP Varus. Now I do think, as you guys can see from my tier list, I always think that Varus is the best ADC, and one of the reasons for that is the fact that he can basically build any build in the game. So today we're going to be covering the AP variants of Varus, and let's get straight into it. So first up, despite the fact that you're building AP eventually, you're actually going to start off with AD. The main reason why you want to do this is two things. Firstly, AP Varus is really weak in the early game. So if you start off your build with like Nash's Tooth into Riftmaker and then into Deathcap, when you are like at 1-2 items, you're going to be very weak, and that is of course not good at all. And secondly, by going for Terminus and Gluttonous Greaves, first two items, you do have a secondary way to play AP Varus, which is just by auto attacking instead of simply by hitting your ult and bursting people down. That's kind of one of the reasons why I thought AP Varus was not very good, in the past before Terminus, was a thing. But now I actually think AP Varus is an amazing build for him because of the fact you can build Terminus and you can take little tempo and you can auto attack down people as well. So you start with Gluttonous Greaves for the Omnivamp and the attack damage. Of course, this is going to be really good for you because you do a mix of AD and AP damage, and of course you also do true damage later on with your Riftmaker. So first item is going to be Terminus. You get AD attack speed, magic damage on hit, which technically I guess helps contribute to your AP. You also, of course, get the stacking resistances as well as the stacking penetration, when you have this item. And Terminus, one of the main reasons why it's an amazing AP item is the fact that it gives you, 33% magic penetration, which if you build normal AP items, you're going to get like 7 plus 7 plus 7, and it's going to take a long time to reach a good amount. But with Terminus, you instantly get 33, and it caps out at 40, so when you get like I believe it's when you get Riftmaker, you're already at the 40% cap, which is just insane, basically. So, of course, next up you go for Nash's Tooth, which is going to give you attack speed and ability haste, as well as giving you again more on-hit magic damage. Now, at this point, it's going to give you 30 AD because of the fact you got AD from these two items. But the moment you complete your next item, Riftmaker, it's now going to give you AP instead because you're going to have more AP than AD overall. So this is going to convert Nash's Tooth into an AP item. So I would say when you hit your Riftmaker is really when you basically go from playing AD Varus to AP Varus. So at this point, completion of Nash's Tooth, you are still AD Varus, and then when you hit the Riftmaker, you convert into AP Varus, which again, Riftmaker gives you the good stats, it gives you the Omnivamp, and it gives you the true damage. And seeing as you now have a lot of AP, you want to go for Deathcap to increase the amount of AP you have tremendously, and this is where you full on, have the insane amounts of damage. Now, last item on AP Varus is very variable. I find that as a default, I think Infinity Orb is actually very useful because you get Flat Magic Pen, you get the crit when people are low on health, and it helps you burst people down more easily. But some other options you have are also Horizon Focus, which of course when you hit those long range arrows and things like that, is going to amplify amplify the damage that is dealt to them. And it also, of course, applies to your team. So when you hit the Horizon Focus, your team is going to do more damage to the target as well. So this is actually a very strong option. You have Oceanit's Trident for the anti-shield. So in games where you're playing against like a Karma, a Lulu, Set, Shen, things like that, anti-shield is very helpful. And of course, you also have Crown for the extra safety. You can go for that last item if you want to, and if you need to. And for the runes, you want to go for Lethal Tempo for the attack speed and the extra range. Brutal Claws, you still auto attack a lot, of course. And you want to go for Giant Slayer to counter the health. Here, I like to actually go for Bloodline because I think we have enough attack speed from Terminus and Nash's too. So I like to go for extra Omnivamp. But of course, you could go for Alacrity here if you prefer as well. Now, for the rune and spell combo, you can go for Flash, Exhaust, and then take Nimbus Cloak to get the extra movement speed when you exhaust or flash. Or more ideally is you can go for Bone Plating for the extra defenses and then go for Ghost here. This is the more ideal kind of setup, but it of course depends on whether you need Exhaust or Ghost depending on the enemy team. So with all that said, now we can move on to talking about the actual gameplay. Okay, so let's take a look at our actual gameplay. Now I think this kind of goes without saying, but you basically normally want to pick AP Varus when there is no AP on your team. As in, what I'm trying to say about it is you want to build Varus in an AP manner when there's no AP on your team. Like, You can see here we have triple AD top side, and we have a Nami support who does do AP damage, but of course she is a support building support item, so she doesn't really do very much AP damage. So especially because there are champions like the Braum on the enemy team who is a tank and can block a lot of damage for the enemy team. You know, and he can snag armor, so you definitely want to go for an AP version of Varus to of course counter that. And yeah, I mean, honestly, the enemy team is kind of full AD as well, although Yone does a little bit of mixed damage. So, yeah. So here, Varus is a pretty decent champion in lane. He's not really the strongest, like it's not strong in terms of like Draven, Kalista, Ezreal kind of strong, but he's not weak like you know, like Sivir or Neela. You know, that kind of weak. He's kind of like somewhere in the middle, above average. You know, kind of like, you know, a little bit like maybe like Vayne or Zeri, but a little bit better, you know, than that. So here you can see we're against a Tristana who, in lane, is only really strong on all ins, but you know, on non all ins she's not very strong. So we should be able to you know, bully the Braum and the Tristana a little bit. One of the weaknesses of Braum is the fact that his only range attack is his Q, and he can take a lot of free damage if the player doesn't play him properly, which is kind of what's happening here. Like, he's taking so much free damage, he's really, really low. And I'm actually really hungry for a kill onto Braum. I'm thinking that, you know, we can probably score a kill onto him if we get down like 3 auto attacks into a Q. But unfortunately, Lee Sin turns up to the party, which we spotted him through the ward in the river, and someone is actually pinging that Lee Sin is there. And I do indeed know Lee Sin is there. Tristana tries to go in on me, but I exhaust her to ensure that her bomb doesn't do too much damage. Lee Sin shows up to the party. Yeah, does full combo onto the Nami. Goes in with the Q and then flashes back out. I think he actually might be able to have finished off the Nami there, because he still had a lot of HP, but he kind of got scared. Braum is now 1 HP, and it's kind of really annoying here that he's not dead. Here Lee Sin is getting caught, so we're gonna actually sandwich him here, and we're gonna just get rid of him. Now for some reason Tristana decides to go ahead and try to help him out when Braum is not around, and when Lee Sin is clearly dead. Like, in my opinion there, Lee Sin was 100% dead. It's just a matter of who's gonna get the kill, because he can't run downwards because Master is there. He can't run upwards because he's gonna run into me and Nami, so he's definitely dead. And he kind of baits his Tristana in, or technically Tristana kind of baited herself in, and donates another kill to me. So now I'm 2 kills up in the early lane, and when Varus gets kills in the early lane, you can definitely kind of snowball the lane, because Varus, he doesn't do a lot of damage if you can't get off auto attacks, but when you can get down your auto attacks and apply the blight, Varus does insane amounts of damage when you have your blight, pop your W, and Q through someone. Like, it can do like more than half their health, and it kind of surprises people a lot of the time, which is kind of the main way I get solo kills. You know, in there, or not solo kills, but you know, 2v2 kills in lane, is when you stack up your passive on someone and they're like half HP, they don't expect the damage, and you hit them with that arrow, and you know, they just get bursted instantly from like, you know, 50% to 0, and they just die, and they're just like, wow, Varus is so broken. Which I don't disagree. I do think Varus is pretty broken, but that's just one of the aspects that if you don't play Varus enough, or you don't play against Varus enough, you're just not aware of it. But yeah, if you are the Varus player and you know how to play around your damage, you know, it can be really good. Now Nami here gets hard engaged on by the enemy team. I exhaust the Tristana to reduce her bomb damage, which allows Nami to survive. And now the enemy team both use their ultimates, and now I still have my ultimate. Taking a little bit of damage here though. Nami picks up the fruit, and we know Lee Sin is in mid, so we know that, you know, they can escape. For some reason Tristana steps really, really far. Braum actually blocks the arrow for her, and Tristana survives because of the Braum, but Braum is gonna pay the price for it, because I flash forward, kill her. Tristana dies to the Nami, who also is able to close the gap and hit her with a W. So both of them do end up dying. So another 2 kills into the pocket. One of them was an assist, I guess, but with this we now have a huge goal lead. We're now 4.2k goal, more than a 1k goal up on the Tristana, and obviously this is kind of the place you want to be. And in fact, you of course want to put Tristana behind, because she's obviously a lot weaker on 2 items compared to other ADCs, and you know, even when you delay that, it gets even worse, because it just means she's gonna be very weak in the mid game. And yeah, so here the first 2 objectives are gonna be spawning soon, and of course we are really strong. So ideally, our jungler can do the dragon, and we can of course fight a dragon and maybe kill people or get our team kills to translate our lead. But instead, it looks like he's in a fight in the bot lane with the Yone, and looks like he's dying. So, yeah, he does end up going down. So, here I suspected that Lee Sin was actually doing the dragon because we couldn't actually see him doing the herald, and we didn't see Lee Sin on the map. So, I actually thought he was doing the dragon. I actually popped the plant to check, and it turns out that he is actually doing the dragon. So here, we're actually trying to see if we can run interference or slash steal the dragon. I try to go for the steal, but it doesn't quite happen. Varus arrow does get steals, a decent amount of the time because it does do a lot of damage. So here, Lee Sin misses the Q on me. Honestly, I think if he hit the Q on me there, he kicks me back into the team, I'm dead. But here, Braum takes a ton of damage, or he would have taken a ton of damage if he did not put the shield up when I launched that arrow there. But he does block basically a ton of damage from that arrow because it does block the first instance of damage. Now they are trying to do some sort of funky tower dive, but they're just super uncoordinated. Like those Lee Sin gangs that has been happening is just really, really awkward. Like I'm not quite sure what's going on, but yeah, it's just been really awkward for them. Like Lee Sin has not been coordinating with his team and diving properly or ganking properly for that matter, so we've been able to survive the Lee Sin no problem. Lee Sin actually has a death from us killing him in the river just now, and we actually complete our terminus now. So in the future when we fight, we're gonna get those extra resistances and extra penetration, and that's just gonna be so much better for us. Braum here is trying to take the toolkit, and by the way guys, how does that hit me? Like I'm so clearly out of the blast range, but that laser like apparently 100% of the time hits you, even though it's clear that you're not getting hit by the laser. That must be a bug. Anyways, here we just clear the wave, not too much happening. The mimics are actually still up, which is kind of wild because both junglers just decided not to go for it. Now I think Lee Sin is now doing it. He actually is not. He's just popping the sweeper and hopping over to try to get in a gank. Huge fight happening at the bottom lane, but nothing to do with us because we're here still in the 2v2 versus the Tristan and Braum. Both of them still have 0 KP, by the way, so they are not doing too hot at all. Now here we're playing super aggressive because obviously we're in a very advantageous position. Tristana doesn't have any full item yet, whereas obviously I do. Braum is taking a bunch of damage here, and I'm trying to see if I can really do anything, but there's not really a lot to do when they're so close to the tower. Here Braum decides to ult me and decides to go in, which we are really overextended, so I can see why. Here I have to actually flash out because I couldn't get off my damage very successfully there. Now Braum is taking a bunch of damage again, has to flash away. Now Braum is actually really, really annoying to play against because if that was not a Braum, I could have easily turned around and killed both of them, but the fact that Braum puts his shield up means that I cannot actually just do that, so I have to actually flash away. Like here, after the two of them back, Jin and Yone decide to join the party. Now Jin here takes like no damage from me for some reason, and I thought he was building some kind of weird build, but turns out he's just building a normal build, and for some reason I do no damage to him, which is really, really weird. But here we're gonna quickly try to clear the wave, dodge the Jin W, and Yone and Jin are both here to gank. Now the thing is that Sion and Master are making their way back up, so here I'm just trying to keep them interested, trying to bait. Yone whiffs that ult big time. We're not gonna ult Yone because we don't have ult. Even if we did, he's a very mobile target. So here, enemy team goes in, my team goes in as well. Nami wave hits a few people, but no one actually dies. Nami's 1 HP, has to run for the hill. Sion is just blocking for everybody, and I get hit by the Braum ult, but I'm under the tower, so I'm relatively safe. And at this point, I'm just like, you know what? I have no mana. I have low health. I'm just going to back. Like, if the enemy team gets the tower, then so be it. It's not worth defending this tier 1 tower. And yeah, here I back. I get components for my Nashor's Tooth. Braum picks up the tower. Sion is now getting run down by the enemy team, but he's tanky, and the enemy team is overcommitting. So here I'm trying to help him out. I get the root onto the Braum. I was actually aiming for Jin, but he moved and I hit the Braum instead, so Braum ends up going down. Sion for some reason chases, not chases, he dies, so he ends up chasing them. And here if Masti was helping us to fight instead of farming his jungle, we probably could have killed the Jin and or the Tristana, because they are so far overextended, and we probably could have killed them. But anyways, they both have to flash, so it's not, we didn't get nothing. So now we're just going to finally finish off this tower, which is what we were trying to do just now before Yone and Jin came over and ganked. So dragon is up and we are in the area, but Master Yi is not in the area. So here I'm just gonna pop the fruit, just get a little bit of my mana back, and now we're just going to focus the skull. Lee Sin is clearly doing the dragon, and again I'm just gonna have to try for a blind steal. Actually, I don't even try. Nami does, but we don't get it. Master Yi now trying to get the mid lane farm. We're trying to fight him for it. Now, the Braum goes in with the ulti, kicks the Nami into us, and I get bursted down. I'm gonna have to flash away to safety. Master Yi tries to back, but Static Shift interrupts his recall. And here Jin pops the ulti. I'm gonna have to run away out of the ulti zone so that I'm not sniped down. And here I complete my Nash's Tooth, and I'm gonna restore my health and mana. And the enemy team is now as a 5-man stack trying to go onto our inhibitor, which is kind of insane if you really think about it. Thankfully, I have a decent amount of wave clear, so I'm just gonna clear up that wave. And yeah, hopefully the enemy team is gonna waste their time mid. They don't actually do that. They're actually running back to the jungle. Jin is sticking around for a tad too long, though. Does have multiple slows to slow us down. And now I'm gonna grab the red buff. So if you take a look at the overall situation of the game, the enemy team is like 3-4k gold ahead of us, and Yone is running straight into the Nami. Nami flashes away. Yone is taking a bunch of damage from me, gets CC'd and gets sniped down by my W into Q combo. Lee Sin once again with the kick summon into me to CC me. He does hit a Q on me, but if he Qs me here, he is gonna die because he's gonna go way into the back line. So overall here, Irelia is dead. We did manage to kill the Yone. Lee Sin hops all the way in, for some reason. And here I'm just gonna ult the Braum and hope it spreads. It does get the spread onto, I believe it's the Jin. No, it's actually the Lee Sin. Here I'm in a 1v1 versus Jin. We exhaust each other. I'm gonna finish him off. But here I thought I could win this 1v1 versus Tristana because I was really fed and Tristana was not so fed. But two things have changed. Number one, she's gotten a bunch of kills from elsewhere and she actually has 2 items. Number two, she has exhaust, but I already exhausted the Jin. So the fact that she had exhaust and I didn't, obviously you know how exhaust is really OP. So whoever has exhaust basically normally wins the 1v1 unless the gap is so huge that that's no longer the case. But in this case, obviously it's not. So Tristana does win the 1v1 with the help of her exhaust, and I do end up finally dying and she gets the shutdown, which is not very good at all. But it is what it is, and we are almost to the Riftmaker, so we're almost at the point where AD Varus becomes AP Varus, and we still have a really nice lead. Yone though is just as fair as us, and that's what we really have to be careful of. He looks like he has Bork and his and BT and is going for IE next, most likely. So here we have enough for the Riftmaker, so now we get the Riftmaker, and this is where we are now AP, and we are probably going to be able to do more damage to Braum, who is obviously just building all armor items. He does have magic resist boots for some unknown reason, because no one on my team actually does AP except Nami. So that's kind of a huge boot item choice mistake by the Braum. Here Yone is running down the Nami. I try to ult the Yone to save Nami, but I end up ulting the Braum instead. Braum takes a chunk of damage, like almost half his health just from my Q there. But yeah, so I snipe Lee Sin as well, remove his first strike. And here again, the enemy team is trying to run down mid lane, so we're just going to quickly clear up the mid lane minions. I realize getting hardcore engaged on does go down. Master Yi is now trying to go in by himself again. Thankfully, he's able to run away with the help of his ulti, but yeah, it is not too hot. Now you can see my team is like 5k gold behind the enemy team. We're in dire straits, and as the relatively fed, or like pretty fed actually, ADC, the best I can do is just stay safe and DPS wherever I can, not take unnecessary risks, clear the minions, things like that. Jin gets caught, I'm able to root him down, ensure that he dies, so that's one major damage source from the enemy team eliminated. Of course, Yone is the other one. Here, since Braum is kind of caught out, we're just going to finish him. Now Lee Sin and Yone are both here. I exhaust the Yone to ensure he can't kill me, and he's going to go back to his shadow, and he dies anyway. And I'm gonna flash forward, finish off the Tristana, and I actually get a triple here. And Lee Sin is now running for the hills. I have to pick up the fruit to get some mana because Varus is super mana hungry, and now I'm actually pinging for the Baron. Now, something to note is that the Drake is up, so the enemy team is gonna get Mountain Soul if they get this Drake. So we have a choice of denying the soul or getting the Baron. In my opinion, getting the Baron here is a lot better, because with the Baron we can get the Baron minions, we can, you know, push out our lanes and get towers, and honestly Mountain Soul is not a very big deal. It just gives a very small shield, and it doesn't really matter in my opinion. Like, you know, you can take the Mountain Soul, I will take the Baron. But we are just gonna see if we can check anyway in case the enemy team is doing it really slow. They do eventually get the Mountain Soul, but again, as I said, it's not very important. So now what we want to do is we just want to follow the T-Hex and use the T-Hex to secure some towers, which we really badly need. Sion is ulting straight down mid. Yone for some reason decides to engage onto all of us, ults back in, and just gonna get bursted by me. I'm not sure what he's thinking there. He is really fat and he could have carried the game for his team, but he decides to end his life away instead. Now the enemy team is split into two pairs. I'm gonna go for the more valuable pair, which is the Jhin and the Lee Sin. I somehow don't hit the ult there. I thought I would have hit it onto the Jhin, but I don't have ult now because of that, which makes things a little bit harder. Now we have one cannon minion left, and it's not in tower range, so we can't really do anything to the tower. Q connects onto the Sion, but it's not too important. I mean, if Lee Sin kicks Sion into my team, that's gonna be a bunch of damage because Sion has a lot of health, but Lee Sin doesn't have kick, so we should be fine. TX is doing a bunch of work here, but it's really, really low. So here, Master Yi decides to jump into the entire enemy team under tower, instantly ends his life away, and now we have to kind of run a little bit. Now I hit my ult onto multiple members. Again with the Braum shield is blocking all the damage. I can't kill the Jhin. Jhin survives because of the Braum, and Braum takes another hit for the team. And here we're trying just to finish off this tower, so we're gonna get it eventually. And yeah, Yone goes in again. You know, he somehow misses the ult on me. I just sidestep a little bit and he doesn't hit, so I'm able to actually kill him. And now Tristana is the last one alive other than Jhin, but the TX does end up dying. And here is double ADC versus me and Renata. I know I realized like 1 and 6. I'm not trusting her at that's Sion actually. She's 3 and 7, so I'm not trusting her at all. She tries to go in, whiffs everything basically, and Tristana now goes for a 1v1 against me. I try to fight her, but at this point, you know, I can't 1v1 a Tristana. Like, Tristana is one of the strongest 1v1 champions in the game, and she's past that 2 item power trough. She's not at 3 items, and despite the fact that I have like 3 and a half items, I guess you could say, like, yeah, Tristana is one of those champions like Kai'Sa that's really hard to 1v1. Like some of those champions are just insane 1v1 champions, and like Tristana and Kai'Sa are some of them, and yeah, I can't fight her. So I kind of got baited by the Irelia there, honestly, because I thought she could do something and I could follow up, but she does actually, you know, nothing. Thankfully though, here we have Master Yi taking over. No CC on the ADC, so he's just going to literally run both of them down. And that's a huge kills, because here Elder Dragon is up. He flashes forward, goes for the Lee Sin, gets kicked. Trying to run down the Lee Sin. Lee Sin uses everything. He uses flash, baits Master Yi all the way in, and Master Yi is now dead. So we went from an insanely good situation to now a not that good situation, because now our jungler is dead, Elder is up. They have both ADCs dead, but they have a jungler alive. I'm running here as fast as I can. Sion and Nami are keeping them busy. Now I'm trying to go in. I get the root. You know, we're killing everybody. Yone dies. Everybody dies. It's a clean ace. And here the issue is that we don't have a wave. Like, if you see our wave, our mid wave is stuck at our side of the map, and so is our top wave, so we can't end the game here. So the best we can do here is to go for Elder, and from Elder maybe go to Baron and use Baron to try to end the game. So here you can see pings are coming out for Baron. We're just gonna get a little bit of mid lane priority, so maybe we can try to use this mid wave to do something later on. And in this match, you can see I picked up a stasis, because if, you know, Yone or like Lee Sin tries to engage on me, I can try to stasis, but QSS, you know, is not that helpful in this game. So stasis is the way to go here, which is normally not the case for most games. So here we are going to be able to pick up the Baron. I have like no mana after all of that, so I'm going to quickly back, you know, get myself the mana. And of course here I'm building into my Oblivion Orb, because I do find a lot of situations where, you know, people are really low and I just can't finish them off. So here the top wave is huge on the enemy team. We're going to quickly clear that, you know, before it has a chance to push and get our tower. Now here I really need blue buff, because I'm so mana hungry. I need this blue buff to restore my mana. So here my whole team is barreling down mid. We have Baron and Elder. I need to join up with them as quickly as I can because I am a major source of damage for my team. Yone again is trying to go in here. I whiff my ult again, which is really, really bad. I'm going to have to flash away to keep myself safe. And this is a little bit of a bad situation here. Masti and Sion are dead, and we can't really do very much. My Elder is going to be able to kill Tristana though, and I get a double onto Lee Sin. I get the triple onto the Yone, and now we are suddenly in an incredible position. I mean, honestly, Elder is OP, so yeah. Yeah, but you can see that, you know, my arrow barely does any damage anymore because I have an AP build, so that I don't really have a lot of AD to increase the arrow damage. So here I'm baiting, and I go forward, and Jhin gets baited in. I pop the stasis, I realize finishes both of them, and here we can end the game. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.